week or so. It's this is our maybe 10th Zoom session, perhaps the last one of the season 2020-2021 for the Glencoe Mountain Snow School, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have all sorts of people talking all sorts of subjects, everything from equipment maintenance through to last week's Science of Fun. And it's brilliant to have Snow Camp here. 3 people from Snow Camp presenting for us this evening. This will be going out on YouTube, social media, all that kind of stuff. And so you'll be able to share it to your friends, your family, all that kind of stuff, wherever you want to put it. And Snow Camp will be delivering a session, and then feel free to, I think you just pop your hand up anytime you got a question or whatever. And I think also at the end as well. So handing over to whoever's going first from Snow Camp, and I'll mute myself now.
Thanks, James. That'll be me. So hi guys, my name's Laura, and I'm the programme manager in Scotland for Snow Camp. So thanks so much for having us on this evening. And as James said, I have got 2 others from the Snow Camp team on with me. So I have Frankie, giving you a wave there, and we also have Kym, who you may or may not know because she's been part of the Glencoe team, although obviously hasn't actually had the chance to come and do any work, but there we go. Hopefully
we tried. We did our best. We did our best.
So yeah, as I say, thanks so much for coming on tonight and for having us on and giving us the opportunity to just tell you a little bit about who Snow Camp are and what we do. So we are a youth snow sports charity, and we were founded in 2003 down in London, with the aim of sort of engaging with inner city young people that were lacking in confidence and self-esteem, and didn't really have any opportunities to improve their lives. So we basically, it all started with a trip out to the Alps, basically with a bunch of young people, but since then we've sort of incorporated a lot of stuff into our programs, and we now have a set program journey that we follow in all the different snow camp regions. So we now run in London, the Midlands, the northwest of England, and in Scotland. The Scotland one being generally around the central belt because it's just me and that's where I'm based. Although we have worked with youth groups a little bit further afield. But what happens is we've got like a set course of programs over the course of a year where young people can go from never having skied or snowboarded in their life, like not knowing anything about it, to becoming a qualified instructor in just a year. And by qualified instructor, I mean the Snow Sports Scotland Level 1 Foundation award is the one that we work towards. So for every hour that we spend on the slope, we also spend an hour in the classroom talking about all the different, we basically call them life skills sessions. So we talk about all the different skills that the young people have to use when they're out in the slope and how they can transfer that back into their lives. And they earn over the course of the year like loads of different qualifications. Their Snow Sports Scotland Snow Life Awards, they do an ASDAN qualification in sport and fitness, they do their outdoor first aid, their safeguarding children in sport qualifications. So what I'm going to do just before I talk anymore is I'm going to share one of our videos, which I did get ready, and now I can't see.
Can I ask how old they are?
What's that?
How old are they?
So the young people that we work with are aged 13 to 21.
Okay.
So mostly teenagers.
Yeah. And then when you say throughout the year, is that then like the winter season or all year round?
Yeah, so the program year for Snow Camp actually runs from summer. So we start, we basically reach out to youth groups in the summer holidays. So they come along and do first tracks, which is 2 days on the slope, where they get beginner lessons for two days, and so that's summer, that's sort of July, August time, and then the programs run through the winter season. Then I guess like we have the second lot of programs sort of October, November time, and then the Excel program, which is the actual more intensive instructor qualification one, that starts in February and runs through to April. So you're getting the most of the winter season at that point. Although it doesn't really matter to us whether it's winter or not, because we use like the indoor slopes and the dry slopes predominantly. So we'll normally use Snow Factor for the majority of our programmes, and we use Bear's Den for some of them. Young people tend to not like the dry slope as much. They tend to complain that it hurts them when they fall, and you know, that they like the snow better, or the fake snow. And I can't blame them. But as I always say to them, the programmes in London are the only programme now that actually get to experience dry slope, because the London, Midlands, Northwest, they just work in the snow centres now. So I always say to them, this will make you a better skier, like this will make you a better boarder. Like if you learn this terrain as well, you know, it's going to make you so much better and so much more able to cope with things when you get out to the real hills.
Totally agree. And the snowdomes are indoors, you never get any weather. Whereas, you know, skiing and snowboarding, you don't have to, you know, you can do it indoors, but it's usually an outdoor sport. And if you've never experienced weather while you're skiing or snowboarding, Glencoe is a bit of weather, shall we say?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So we like to teach them to deal with the elements. Sorry, Alistair.
No, so I was just saying the dry slope, I've kind of always thought it's like learning on ice, you know. So it's like you say, if you can learn, you've got all the techniques the same. It's just you've got to be a bit more precise, and it does make you better. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we do try though to, where possible, visit Glencoe as well as part of our programme. So normally we arrange to come up to Glencoe at the end of our graduate programme, which is sort of October, November time, and that's normally just before Glencoe opens for the season. Sometimes when we've been up, there's been a little bit of snow, but that's more of a, not really for skiing or snowboarding on, but more for like just the appeal to the young people that, you know, they're in the mountains and it's snowing, and like they love that. Because like a lot of these young people have never been out of Glasgow, you know, they've never gone to do anything like that. So even if we don't actually get to ski or snowboard on on real snow, it's just that coming up to Glencoe, being in the mountains, going on the chairlift, like, you know, they've never done anything like that before. So it's just so exciting for them to come up, and Glencoe have been amazing, you know, in facilitating that to happen. And last year, not 2020 obviously, but the year before, we had an absolutely fantastic trip up, and it was the first season, James, that you'd been there. And
Yeah,
such
for my first session of the working at Glencoe.
Yeah, it was so good. We got like shown like the big hangar with all the machinery, and we got showed all the lifts and the snowmaking machine, the snow factory, and you know, everybody just absolutely loved it. And you know, that group that I brought up that day still rave about that to this day. I'm like, what's your snow camp highlight? And they're like, definitely Glencoe. But bearing in mind that that's the same group that didn't get to go in the residential to the Alps last year. So that's why Glencoe is still the highlight.
Fair enough. Not many people say Glencoe Mountain's better than the Alps, you know, like we're good, but we're not that good. Yeah.
Yeah, so when we do these programmes over the course of this year, it culminates in a trip out to the Alps. So we go out on a residential to the Alps, and we go with all the different regions. So the young people that I've been working with in Scotland, we'll then go out and we'll stay in the resort with the young people from London as well. So they get to meet people from other regions and other parts of the UK that have been doing the exact same thing as them. But it's so amazing to see them, you know, get to know each other and become friends and just have an amazing time out in the Alps. So I think I've managed to get this screen that I'm meant to be sharing up. So I'm going to share it now, and hopefully you'll be able to hear the sound. Maybe you could give me a thumbs up just when it starts, just to say that you can actually hear it all right, so that it's all good. But here we go.
Before I was involved with snow camp, I was hanging around in gangs and getting in trouble with the police.
I didn't do much. I used to just sit around.
I spent a lot of time in my room, and if I was doing anything else, I was out hanging about with people who weren't really positive influences in my life.
Mainly bored all the time, just nothing really to do.
I used to be really anxious about my future and wonder if there was anything out there for me.
I was bullied quite a lot.
Life has been very difficult. I've moved around from one foster home to another.
Fairly easy to get into trouble because a lot of 15-year-olds are included in like crimes and all these things.
But I knew I had to change.
When I first heard about snow camp, what directly came to my head is I get to go to snow because I never been on snow, on like actual snow.
I've never seen someone from my area ski down snow.
When I got to snow camp, we seen on the slopes that young people were teaching young people how to ski and snowboard.
Snow camp is a guide for young people to find themselves, introducing them to new environments, taking them from the urban setting. They take part in activities that help not only help them develop, but to help others as well. And they get the opportunity to take it to the next level and become instructors and then go out there and work in the field. There's space for anybody at snow camp, no matter your background, and that's a beautiful thing.
One of the key elements they do at snow camp is peer-to-peer training. This shows that young people can learn from each other, and with hard work they can go from an absolute complete beginner to a qualified instructor in just 1 year.
Snow camp is such a unique new opportunity that young people would never consider, and whatever young people put in, they get back tenfold.
It's an incredible challenge when it comes to learning a new skill.
I think I fell down a couple of times. That was one of the rules that we made in classroom as well. If you fall down, get back up.
We would often talk about the life skills we were learning on the slopes, so things like confidence, determination, communication. It really gave me a chance to reflect on what life skills I actually had or needed to work on outside the snow camp.
It's not just helping them learn to snowboard and ski, it's actually helping them in the rest of their lives. They can take the skills that they've learned and take them out into their school life, into their friendships, into their families.
Getting the first track award felt absolutely amazing.
It's the first time I ever got an award for anything.
They'd already learned so much, both on the slope and in the classroom, but gaining an award was such a confidence boost for them.
Let's go.
I knew on the second day of first tracks, I started to fall in love with the sport and wanted to take it further.
I struggled on day one, but on day two it just clicked.
From that moment, I decided I wanted to sign up for the graduate programme.
When I did the first tracks, of course, me being able to ski within 2 days, imagine what I could do in the next 6 to 8 months.
Moving up to the main slope felt fantastic. Everything was looking up. I knew going on to the graduate programme was the right choice.
When you see the excitement and what they can learn in just 2 days, it's so important that they get that opportunity to do the 6 weeks.
They actually care who they're working with. They actually have people to be there for the young people.
It's a very open and kind place to work, and everyone is in the same boat.
I was really nervous when I started graduate. I'd be able to meet loads of new people who I've never seen before. But once you get to know them, they're really nice people to work with, and we all loved it. It's amazing how much my skiing improved over the 6 weeks of the course.
Everyone at the end gets a qualification, no matter whether they get onto Excel or not.
I was over the moon when I got put forward for the Excel programme.
It's another step on the journey to putting on the blue jacket.
Getting that blue jacket meant so much to me.
I really felt like I'd earned it. I'd already come so far from where I started.
I felt special still, and there was an uplift in it that I'm doing something good in life.
I am part of something.
Excel programme is where the perseverance really kicks in. You're not only perfecting your own riding, but you're also learning how to deliver and teach somebody else.
For the first time in my life, I really believed I could be a ski instructor.
I couldn't wait to get to the mountains to put my effort in and to see all my hard work pay off.
I'd never even left the country before. Like, I didn't even have a passport.
I was like, I'm going to the mountains. I'm doing this.
It was just imaginary. It's like going to Wonderland.
I am on top of the world. I've made it.
I've got a choice now. I've made lifelong friends. I've got places that I can go, paths that I can choose.
Excel gives young people real life skills and qualifications. It gives them a clear pathway to the next steps in their lives if they want to become instructors. And after the Excel course, young people 16 to 21 can apply for the Snow Camp apprenticeship programme, Or they can join the youth forum and come back as volunteers supporting their peers through the journey of programmes that they've just completed. It's amazing.
The great thing about the apprenticeship is it's a year in snow sports industry where the horizons and their opportunities are opened up even more.
The Snow Camp apprenticeship programme, it's not just about teaching snow sports to young people. It's an opportunity for them to gain further qualifications and to take part in work placements across the industry, and also as they're going through that process, which can be quite challenging, they've got access to mental health support too.
We have had young people that have progressed onto that apprenticeship, and I think they have then become great representations to newer learners who are then entering the programme.
I was lucky enough to be able to be offered the job at the end of my placement.
When I first started, I knew nothing about snow sports or snowboarding. It gave me like the insight to instructing as well, and I managed to get a job out of it, so anything can happen out of it.
Snow camp took me from nowhere to places I thought I'd never be able to go to.
Gave me the confidence to actually do things out of my box.
Snow camps opens the doors for being able to travel, go abroad, to be able to do seasons abroad, to work, career paths and opportunities that are very far detached from what is normally accessible within these kind of socially deprived communities.
All that whole year doing first tracks to graduate to excel, it just made me be proud of myself.
Snow camp took me from a very dark place to a place where I feel like I have no limitations and can find a path in the future.
Right, thank you for watching. Hope you like the video. Every single voice in that video is all young people who have actually been through our programmes, so it's all real voices from the different regions. Oh, hold on, sorry. Something else is playing in the background. I don't know if you could hear that there or not, because I wasn't sharing a screen, but suddenly heard a guy's voice. I was like, what is playing there? I think it was YouTube going on to the next film. So yeah, you had voices from all the different regions there. So I really like that film that was just made at the end of last year, and there's some youth worker voices in there as well, but hopefully you can kind of get a gist of what we do from that video. You'll have seen in there that on top of the year-long journey of programmes that I was talking about before, we also offered an apprenticeship, which is actually what Kym went through. So after they qualify as the Level 1 Snow Sports Scotland instructors, they have the opportunity to apply for one of the apprenticeships in each of the different regions. So last year we had 3 in Scotland, and a potential for maybe 4, depending. We don't have one running this year for obvious reasons, but yeah, each year normally there would be the opportunity to progress onto that should they wish to. And with the apprenticeship, they will do, they'll firstly do work experience at each of our sort of partners we work with. So we've had apprentices do placements at Snow Factor, Bears Den, DS UK actually as well. And they also do a modern apprenticeship in sport and fitness and sports coaching, sorry. And they spend the remainder of the year actually working alongside me. So when I run the programmes for a new lot of young people, they will be like my right hand men basically, and they will be there, you know, running the programmes with me. For any young person that doesn't go on to the apprenticeship, there is also still the opportunity to join our youth forum and come along and volunteer at snow camp programmes. And that's really such an important part of snow camp, is that every young person that, you know, has gone through it comes back and then puts everything back into snow camp. So for a new young person coming along, having never skied or snowboarded before, they've got that inspiration to look up to. So they've got, you know, our apprentices and our volunteers who are there as instructors, helping them on the slope and literally saying to them, you know, this time last year, I was you, like, and I couldn't even ski or snowboard, and look at me now. And and that is the biggest single inspiration for any young person coming along, because I can stand and I can say, oh, snowboarding and skiing is really great and brilliant and it's so fun and amazing, but that's just me talking. It's that they when they see their peers doing it, that's the thing that motivates them and inspires them the most. So it's really like one of the most important parts of what we do, is that continuation of young people coming back. Another thing to tell you about what we do is actually the mental health aspect of things, which was mentioned in the film there. So before lockdown happened, we had actually teamed up with a counsellor, Kevin Hempstead, who's based down in London and was a massive supporter of what we do at Snow Camp. And they had already decided to incorporate some mental health and wellbeing content into our programmes. So Kevin had started touring around the different Snow Camp regions when we were running our programmes the year before last, and coming up and just talking a little bit about some things like, fear and anxiety and, different barriers to getting on the slope, even talking to young people about, that way when you've never been up a steep slope before and you're standing at the top and you're scared to let yourself go and go down. So he was talking to them about different ways to manage that and ways to calm yourself down. It was just a really good, nice addition to our programmes. But when lockdown hit, and obviously we couldn't do anything on the slopes, we realised that what Kevin was doing, he could actually do online. So a massive, massive part of what we've been doing for the last year is really developing sessions and workshops that we can run on Zoom with our young people that we were already working with, and talk about different subjects. So we've put so much into it. We've run constantly since last summer, various things, just ways to cope with coronavirus, loneliness, fear, anxiety, all these different subjects we've made workshops for and had young people come along to. And we've also managed to sort of build on we've basically teamed up with a different counselling organisation called JHD, who have come on board and have now actually offered introduction to counselling courses for young people. So a lot of our young people have done these courses to actually start the journey to become training towards being counsellors as well, which is just another thing to put on their CV, which is amazing. And I know we've not been able to get on the actual slopes, but it is fantastic. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on for a minute and give you a little break from hearing my voice, and I think we'll hear from the other guys that are here. So Frankie, will we go to you first and hear a little bit about your Snow Camp journey? Over to you.
So hi guys, I'm Frankie, like Lola said. So I first started Snow Camp when I was 16. Oh my god, it was so long ago. Yeah, I think I was 16. And at that point in my life, I was still at school, but I had just become homeless, so I was living in a hostel, and it was a big experience for me, because I was away from family and I was in a situation where I couldn't control kind of my surroundings. So I've got really bad sunburn, so I'm trying not to scratch my face. And I came to Snow Camp because I came with a group called MCR Pathways, and they basically bribed me to come because I hadn't left my room in so long. And I came to Fast Tracks, and I was terrified to go on the snow. I was just scared that I was going to fall over and hurt myself, and it was cold and it was miserable. So I don't think I had the typical Fast Tracks experience. I hated it, to be honest. It wasn't something that I really wanted to come back and do. And it was I just found it so much effort at the time. I was just it's just so much that I have to do. But I ended up coming back for graduate because I was I'm not giving up, I'm just going to try it again. And it was kind of during graduate where I kind of started to fall in love with kind of skiing and just being on the slope. I found it a nice escape away from everything else that was going on in the world. And also gave me a chance to come to meet some friends and people that I still talk to this day. So when the opportunity to do Excel came, I wanted to go. But I found the barrier for me was I have depression and anxiety, and I found that a big barrier to participating sometimes, because when your mood's not good, we don't want to talk to people or go skiing, we just want to lie in bed. So I found that kind of difficult, and snow camp gave me a space where like it was okay to feel like that. Like I could still be there and I felt comfortable to still be kind of sad, but like I was surrounded by people who cared about me. And through snow camp, I ended up meeting Simi, which is the youth organisation that I now work for. And yeah, like it just kind of put me on the right path for life. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Frankie.
Thank you, Frankie. So inspiring hearing from you guys, and thank you so much for coming on and telling your story. Really appreciate it. All right, Kym, over to you now.
I'm a bit sunburnt as well, but I think my nerves have made my sunburn worse. You know, I've been sitting rehearsing this for the past 3 hours, and the more I'm rehearsing it, the more I was getting really, really embarrassed. And I don't know why, but I don't know. But I'm all flustered anyway, so ignore my face.
It's always a little bit, sorry to interrupt you, Kip, but it's always a little bit harder, I think, when it's someone that you kind of know.
Yeah.
So because like you obviously know James and maybe you know the other guys, like it's just a little bit harder, I think, to always present or do something.
Yeah.
I think when it's
yeah,
people.
I don't mind when it's like a youth group that do not know me. You know, I could do it, but then I'm like, oh goodness. But oh well, do you know what? I'll do it. So before I started with snow camp, I was in like a really, really dark place in my life. I was in and out of education and employment, and I just really struggled with my mental health. I had no self-worth or self-confidence, and I was just surrounding myself with people who weren't really positive influences in my life, kind of dragging me down a bit more. So I went to First Tracks 4 years ago, and to be honest, a bit like Frankie, didn't enjoy it. I just wasn't in the right frame of mind, and I just signed up. Oh, sorry, just saying, Mum's phoning me there. She knew I had a Zoom call. She's phoning me. Goodness gracious, I'll get her into trouble for that later on.
No worries.
So I just wasn't in the right frame of mind, and I signed up for graduate just to keep my mum happy. But when graduate started, it gave me a bit of a routine because I was attending every weekend, and that helped with mental health because I didn't really have a routine. It was the only routine that I had. Then I realised, that I really kind of like this, kind of felt there might be a wee bit of a passion there, and I wanted to kind of pursue it as a career. So during Excel, like Laura said about getting the assistant instructor, we went to Pila and shadowed instructors. It was more, I realised it was a lot more than just your own skiing. Like you'd teaching people how to ski, obviously, and I'd heard about apprenticeship. It was something that I really wanted to do. So I applied for it, got an interview, and I was really successful. During that year, I was awarded the Frank McCusker Award for Outstanding Attitude and Achievement, which is it's a national award, and also the Pat Webster Award for Outstanding Personal Development, which is given to one Scottish young person. And I was just extremely shocked and overwhelmed, as I'd never won one award, never mind, let alone two in the 1 year. So yeah, that was great. But my year-long apprenticeship it was absolutely amazing, absolutely life-changing, opened so many doors for me. I assisted Laura on our programmes, which was, it was great to see people come, never had boots on, never skied, snowboarded, to then being assistant instructors, just to see somebody have a passion for something that you're so passionate about, that it's grown in them. It was just, it was so rewarding. And I also got an SVQ in sports coaching. And I went on various work placements such as DS UK at Snow Factor, where I assisted on their lessons. I got a good knowledge of the adaptive equipment and the different needs that clients would have and stuff. And I actually got to use the equipment, like taking down the sit ski and tethering, which was scary, but it was good. And I also did a placement at Bearsden Ski Club, where I helped with the upkeep of the slopes, like fixing the pommas, sprinklers. I did some first aid at some race events, did some store work, setting up skis. Whilst I was on placement, I got offered a part-time job at the ski club, just doing some admin in the office, so bookings and stuff, and doing a night at the week, setting up skis in the store. As part of my apprenticeship, I was put through my base alpine level 1 at Snow Factor, and I passed that, and that was another qualification that opened up more doors for me as well. But as I say, good things must come to an end and all that, and unfortunately my apprenticeship ended, which was sad, but got through it, got doing it. But I was lucky enough to finish up my apprenticeship to then be offered a full-time job at Snow Factory as a ski instructor, because I'd spent a lot of time there. So I got to know the staff, the managers, and they knew that they were needing staff and I was going to essentially not have a job once I'd done the apprenticeship. So I worked there for a bit, doing lessons and, manning the slope and stuff. During that time, I was extremely fortunate to be selected out of all the young people nationally to go to Morzine to train with Bass Morzine Leger to train and sit for my base alpine level 2. I found it, quite challenging and quite tough because I didn't know anybody. I went out a couple of weeks after everybody else, so it was quite tough because they'd already made friendship groups, and also everybody that I was training with had a lot more mountain experience than me, had a lot more skiing experience than me, so it was, really tough, but, I knuckled down and just, got on with it. But it was like, I learned so much about myself, so much about skiing, so much about my own skiing. I was skiing to a level, that I'd never ever skied before, and I just had an absolutely amazing season. But unfortunately, as we know, the season was cut short due to lockdown, and I never actually got to sit my level 2, but that will probably do that one day. So due to the connections that I've made during my time at Snow Camp and the opportunities that I've been given, I heard about job opportunities going at Glencoe. So I thought, you know what, I'd like to do that. So I got in contact with James, had a wee interview, got offered the job. I've not been able to work there yet, but another thing that I could add to the list. But I am not exaggerating when I say Snow Camp has changed my life. Like, it has totally turned my life around. That, it's quite sad to say, but I don't think I would be here if it wasn't for Snow Camp, just with the life I was living and the place that I was in and stuff. But I'm so thankful for the experience and, the opportunity Snow Camp has given me. And Snow Camp will always hold a very special and massive place in my heart. So, yeah, thank you for listening to my talk.
Thanks, Kym.
Thank you so much, Kym. Yeah, you've done absolutely amazing, and you should be really proud of everything that you've achieved. And these two guys, like, they might be really thankful to what Snow Camp's done for them, but I mean, I am so thankful to you guys because you support me so much. Like Kym and Frankie both, I know that I can always rely on them. Like, see if I'm doing talks like this anywhere, or speaking to a new youth group, they're always up for coming on a Zoom call with me, telling their stories, talking about Snow Camp. I know when we get back to programs, they'll be there by my side, helping the young people coming on the slopes again and stuff like that. So these are just amazing young people. So thank you so much for everything that you're giving back to Snow Camp now. So thank you. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing from them. I absolutely love, no matter how many times I sit and listen to their stories, I absolutely love hearing them again because they're just so inspiring, I think. But yeah, so that's basically kind of what we do at Snow Camp. One of the biggest, most recent things that we've been doing is our Stop, Breathe, Think campaign that I need to tell you about as well. So as I'd mentioned before, we had progressed a lot into doing a lot of things around mental health and well-being while we've been in lockdown. But all the workshops that we were doing were really for young people that we already worked with. So we were trying to think of a way that we could still try and reach out and engage with new young people that didn't know anything about Snow Camp, that didn't have links with us. So we designed Stop, Breathe, Think. So we teamed up with JHD, which is the counselling organisation that we're working with. And we now are offering free counselling to any young person within that age bracket that we would normally work with. So any young person kind of between 13 and 21 can now access free counselling sessions with no waiting list, with almost immediate help. So we've got a team of over 40 counsellors who are sitting ready to go. We've got a whole, I'm going to share my screen again so that you can see the Snow Camp web page I showed. Is it this one? Yeah, so this is the Youth Hub. Hopefully you can see this all right on my screen. This is on our website, the Youth Hub. So there's various different resources that young people can come on here and look at. All of these different videos here have been recorded on different subjects. You can see depression, coronavirus, eating disorders, stress. So these are all things that young people can come on and watch and might be able to help them straight away. And then Stop, Breathe, Think is the counselling service that I was talking about. So essentially a young person can come on here and click that they'd like to talk, fill out a really simple little form with their contact details, and we'll get in touch, within, a day or so. Which is so valuable for a lot of organisations. If they refer a young person for counselling, they could be waiting weeks to talk to anyone. So this service is available to anyone, and this is like literally any young person in that age bracket. So it doesn't matter where in the country they are, what their background is, who they are. It doesn't matter. If you're a young person and you need to talk to someone, you can come on. So we've been doing this for the last few months very successfully. We've got a lot of young people on our books, yeah, it's just been an amazing resource to be able to offer to the youth workers that we work with. We've been trying to tell everybody that we can about this. There is also a way on this page here that a youth worker can refer on behalf of a young person. So if a young person maybe doesn't have the courage to actually click that button themselves, but if a youth worker has maybe been working with that young person and knows they would benefit from additional support, then with the young person's okay, then they can refer them. So they would do it obviously with the young person knowing about it, but they can actually refer them there. So lots of amazing stuff, but yeah, I guess our main thing is that we can't wait to get back on the slopes. So I'm really looking forward to last year when lockdown sort of kicked in. As Kym said, her season got cut short. She had to come back from Morzine, and the group that I was working with at the time, who would have been working towards their Snow Sports Scotland level 1, their training just got cut short completely. So I think they had their first session with their Snow Sports Scotland instructors, and then that was it. So they really haven't done any of their training. So that needs to be started again as soon as possible, wherever I can do it. And then hopefully this summer we'll be able to get a whole bunch of new people on the slopes as well. So yeah, that's it from me, I think. Does anyone get any questions?
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Laura, Kym, Frankie. It's absolutely fantastic to hear from you.
Yeah.
And Snow Camp, I think a lot of people have heard of Snow Camp. I know roughly what they do, but it's great to hear some more of the actual specifics and what it's like to have actually been on the inside of the organization, to have participated in it right from first time you ever went skiing or snowboarding all the way through. It's certainly something that's really it resonates a lot with me. Like the first time I ever went snowboarding was somebody'd managed to injure their knee, and so there was a free spot on a trip at Glenshee, and I was like, yeah, sure. No idea what a snowboard was, never really even heard of one, and before I know it, I've got one under my arm, and the instructor's like, right, here we go, you're attached. Like, what do I do now? Just keep your toes up. Is that it? Yeah. Whack, and I just loved it. Day one, I still remember saying to the instructor, like, I want to go over there, and he's like, no, we're staying here. And I was 18, so I was like, I'll see you later. Should have known better. Maybe at 18 you don't really know any better, but I just loved it. And then got lessons at Bellahouston Park, the Dendex, the fantastic plastic, and really just got my head around it there. And it's 18 years ago now. I got my what they called the ASBO, the artificial slope snowboard instructor, because all the skiers thought the snowboarders were no good and up to no good because they're snowboarders just inherently. And yeah, it's just been the thing that's really, it's brought me out of myself. Really, I was quite an introverted person, a sort of science geek. Didn't verbally communicate very well, I wasn't very outgoing person, all that kind of stuff. And a bit like you were talking about, these people going to Pila. I've been to various countries and lived there for a while and things like that, just amazing opportunities that I probably wouldn't have done if it wasn't for snowboarding and then skiing as well. So totally resonate with what you say, and it totally rings a bell with me. Just life change completely. I had a completely different life if it wasn't for snowboarding and skiing, that's for sure.
Yeah, a lot of what we do in our sessions on the graduate course, which is the one that runs sort of October, November time, is sort of opening the group's eyes to the different career paths that are available within the snow sports industry. So most of the sessions we will have someone talking, maybe an instructor at one, maybe a sports person at one, just different people talking about different sort of routes they could go down, just so that the group can realise like that there are career opportunities there, and it can really open up a lot of possibilities for them, sort of a thing.
Yeah, not everyone has to be an instructor, like there's all sorts of people working a ski resort, from the lifties, like Glencoe Mountain as year-round lifties, because we take people up in the summer as well, for the views, and it's epic being in a chairlift and just dangling your feet in the air, it's almost like a mini roller coaster, but a lot more chill. And there's people work in a cafe at a ski resort, people work in food and beverage, but you're still at a ski resort and you still get to go, on your days off, go ride, but you cook food as you're living, like you can still, there's so many different ways of doing it.
Exactly. Yeah, like I do one of the sessions on graduate, I normally do a chat about a few years ago I was did a season chalet hosting, so I always do a wee talk of my own about chalet hosting and the trials and tribulations of being a chalet host.
Definitely, and I think customer service is really what a ski resort is. Whatever department you're working in, it's all customer service, and like say for me, it just pulled me out of myself, helped me develop into a more sort of rounded person, really. I'm working on being more round in lockdown as well. Different kind of round though. You can roll me down the hill easier now.
Well, this is basically my dream job really now, because I never worked in the snow sports industry. It was always just a passion of mine. So now I actually work in it. It's amazing. And it's see the best thing about my job though is definitely seeing, as Kym mentioned there, like seeing that journey. Seeing that person that's never been on the slope to what they can achieve at the end of it. It's just like there's nothing like it. It's so rewarding.
What is your background for, and like how did you end up working with this?
Well, yeah, it was quite a funny one actually, because so I'm not even an instructor. I worked for Bank of Scotland and British Gas, skiing was just my mum and dad skied, so I was pretty privileged in a way, because my mum and dad got me lessons at Bellahouston dry ski slope when I was well, I wasn't as young as some people start. I probably didn't start till I was 10 or 11. I know some people are on skis at 3 and all that, but I just learned to ski, and then it was just I was more of a recreational skier. I'd go on ski holidays whenever I could, and I used to love going up to Glencoe with my mum, and still do go up to Glencoe with my mum. We were there last March just before lockdown. Yeah, what had happened was I volunteered for a youth group, and just in my spare time, I wasn't a youth worker either. It was just literally volunteering in my spare time, and they got involved with snow camp. And the main youth worker said to me, "Laura, I know you like skiing. I don't suppose you fancy getting involved with snow camp and taking our young people along to these sessions." So I actually started going along to snow camp as a sort of youth worker, taking young people. And then it got close to their residential in March, and they were needing a female youth worker to go out on their residential, so they asked me could I go out to Pila with them to support, and I was like, sure, no problem. So I just took a week's holiday from my work and went out to Pila to support, and while I was out there, there actually was the Scotland programme manager job was just about to come up, and so yeah, got talking to the programme's director, and yeah, then the rest is history.
Wow.
By a month after I came back, that was me in the job. So it just sort of fell into my lap. Otherwise, if that hadn't happened, if I hadn't have gone on that residential, I'd probably still be sitting in a call centre working for British Gas. So.
It's amazing, isn't it? My first job was a bus driver, and then did a bit like what Kym's doing, went to do level 2 only on a snowboard, which is, as we all know, an infinitely better sport. And And
good
quote
stuff.
unquote, never look back. Yeah.
Frankie, Kym, how did you hear about it? Why did you go along as well to for the first time? Why did you go, and how did you hear about it? It'd be good to know.
For me, it's a bit different. So my mum's friend's son was in was competing in I can't remember, but he was competing in freestyle skiing anyway. So my mum was looking out to watch him on Ski Sunday, and I think it turned out he wasn't even on that one, but she saw the advert or whatever, not advert, like a video anyway about snow camp, and she thought, that would really be good for me. So she contacted the old program manager before Laura, because I wasn't with a youth group. So that was how I get involved personally, which was a bit harder, wasn't it, Laura, for funding and stuff, because I was on my own.
Yeah, because normally we'll work alongside a youth group to come to sort of an agreement for funding. So we've got a funding team at Snow Camp who work really hard applying to trusts and foundations for funding to run these programs, but we also do rely on youth groups being able to pay a little bit for it to come along and do programs. So normally we would work with a youth group who would bring a group of young people along, and they would also the youth workers would also come along and support, because it's just me running the programs. So if I've got 30 young people, I really do need some youth workers there to support. So yeah, in Kym's case, because she was on her own, she actually, we looked up some funding for you, Kym, didn't we? So Kym actually applied to, I can't remember the name of the trust, but there was a trust, a trust that looked at young people who were wanting to do sort of outdoor stuff in Scotland, and Kym managed to secure £300 or something of her own funding, which was amazing. So that all went towards her training. And with Frankie came through. Well, I'll let you answer that, Frankie. Sorry, talking for you.
I came through with I don't really think they classify themselves as a youth group, but they work with young people in schools who are going through troubling times. And I came with a group called MCR Pathways, and I was very fortunate because they funded my whole journey, all the way through, all 3 courses. They funded it for me. So I was very lucky. I didn't really have to do anything to do with funding. But yeah, I just I was quite close to the young people coordinator. And you can never say no to that woman. So when she told me that I was going, it wasn't oh, do you want to do it? It was you're going. And yeah, I stayed.
That's brilliant. No, it was just interesting. I remember it was a few years ago now, Snow Camp put on a movie at the GFT in Glasgow. Glasgow Film Theatre.
Yeah, that's right. That would have been just before I started, when Will was the programme manager. Don't know if you remember Will.
Did Will take groups up to Glencoe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have met him a few times. No.
He's still very much involved with Snow Camp. He's no longer the programme manager, but he still does a lot of funding applications for us. So he's still very much part of the team. But yeah, we haven't done anything like that for a while. We should maybe look at doing something like that again in future, because that was, they put on a film and I had a little bit.
I think it was All I Can. I think it was. Was the name
Oh,
of the
that
film.
was a great one. Absolutely great. And a little bit
I remember
poignant because
the
2 guys in it died, didn't they, shortly afterwards or something?
Was that not Eau Claire?
Yeah, JP Eau Claire and this is 8 years ago, I think.
Was it Tanner Rainville? Maybe there's a few years later in the time.
Not sure. Yeah, it was 2 guys, but yeah, it was an epic movie. Still one of the best ski movies ever made, I think.
Aye, Kym and Frankie, if you've not seen it, it's worth a watch. There was a cracking bit where Eau Claire's going down a street. It's just tremendous, and then he gets to the bottom and gets the bus back up,
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah.
It's proper. It's the biz, one of those movies that just does it all right and doesn't have somebody talking the whole time like in Warren Miller movies. It just irritates me. Stop talking! I want to watch skiing.
What's the name of it?
All I Can, I think it was.
Just writing it down.
Yeah.
So, a quick question, if I could just jump in, like, so now we know a bit more about snow camp. What are some ways that people, like, if you want to get involved, can help out? I mean, obviously, you can donate to snow camp. There's a donate button I saw on the website just there. Can people like donate time? You know, like say, somebody's an instructor and they want to help out a little bit, something like that. You know, can they run a session as a
Yeah.
coach?
So it's a little bit of a funny one because with volunteering itself, because we use all our own youth forum for our normal volunteer hours, there's not so much of that. However, we do rely quite heavily on getting people to help with certain times in the year. So like I mentioned, when we do graduate, we're always looking for people who are involved in the snow sports industry to do talks for us, because every week we have a talk on. So things like that can help. A general spreading the word about snow camp can really help. Like, I mean, I'm always looking for youth groups to get involved. We're always looking for you know, young people for Stop Breathe Think. So just actually talking about us can really help. And there is, I suppose, also then options for when we have our apprentices, because the apprentices are all working towards their BASI level 1. Like it would be good to have potential, like especially for ski instructors, like, or snowboard instructors, to actually have like support. Like I don't know, like, you know, if you had time to come along and like just do some like one-on-one training with the apprentices, that kind of thing. But I mean, we don't have apprentices this year anyway, so that's a little bit probably in the future. But yeah, it's more of an awkward one, because that in general the volunteer hours that we use, like, it's all internal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there are definitely ways
And
that you can. I could make something up for you.
Yeah.
So.
And can you do, like, you know, various charities, you can, when you buy off Amazon, they'll do a kickback. Can you do that with Snow Camp as well?
Yep, you can. There's a snow camp. Is it Amazon? Is it Smile or something
Yeah,
like that? It's called,
smile.amazon.co.uk,
yeah,
I think, something like
yeah.
that.
There is. I can send you the link for the snow camp
Yeah.
one.
So that's an easy one, because you don't even need to actually donate as such. So it's a really easy one for
No.
somebody to just enable on the browser or whatever.
Yeah, that's right, because I've got it on mine. So I can't even remember how you set it up, but yeah, definitely I've got it on mine.
I think if
so
you've got an Amazon account, it's nice and straightforward, and it's actually a fair amount of money, especially if a good few people do it.
Yeah, I mean, it all adds up, doesn't it? And you know, if you're anything like me, like, I literally order stuff off Amazon like every day. You know, something just pops into your head and you're like, oh, okay, and then about 2 seconds later it's bought. It's just too easy to do it. Is that the video that you've sent over, Alistair? Oh, you're on mute. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, just a link to the trailer. So,
Amazing. Yeah, that'd be good. That's a good one for you guys to watch. So you should definitely have a wee look at that. I'm gonna.
For sure. Well,
I think it did used to be on Netflix, but it's not on there anymore. You'll get it somewhere.
So I just want to say quickly, like, thank you very much for talk. It's so inspiring to hear from you guys, and yeah, like I've been at Glencoe for a while, and I've always just absolutely loved taking snow camp groups. I think something that I absolutely love about it is that it's not just this kind of one-off experience, which, you know, sometimes it's great having a school group and you think, oh, it's just sort of one brilliant day or a block of lessons, and then it's almost it's a great experience. But then, you know, you sort of think, what are the opportunities after that? So having you know, building that into career opportunities and all the other work that you're doing, is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been at Glencoe for quite a while, over winters mostly. But recently I've got myself a 9 to 5, so I'm instructing and coaching weekends and holidays now. So I don't have so much of the need to spend all my snow instructing coaching time making money. So yeah, I'll get in touch after, and yeah, would love to do anything I can to help. I think it's a brilliant thing that you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's so nice to hear that, and thank you. And actually, I think I recognise your face from being up at Glencoe.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic to have you all, and you know, snow camp is one of those things that is just such a vibrant part of the sport, bringing people through that might not otherwise have the opportunity, might not cross their path. And you know, that video at the start, it's just amazing to see so many young people just like really passionate about snowboarding and skiing. And you know, for a lot of us, we've been cooped up here, there, and everywhere across the country, not able to do one of the things that really is a driving passion in our lives. And it's just it's hard to not listen to somebody that's like a teenager going, oh, I love snowboarding, I love skiing, and just be like, oh, I just want to go do it right now. That's almost the hard part. I was watching those videos of those epic mountains and being like, oh, I want to be there, I want to be there right now. And I don't know, I just love the freedom that skiing and snowboarding can bring. You know, it's amazing to be a young person top of this giant great mountain and think, where am I going to go? I can kind of go anywhere. It's just there's so few sports that can give you that level of freedom and self-responsibility and an opportunity, really. You know, it can take you anywhere in the world almost. It's like 100 countries in the world you can go skiing and snowboarding, something like that. That's just epic. And it's like you were saying, Roddy, it's just really inspiring to hear from people whose lives just get turned around like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and you know, it's all the better for it. And what I'll do is I'll just stop the recording there, and if anyone wants to chat afterwards, feel free.